It wasn't long. You didn't know.
And by in 3, 2, 1. You are live.
We're
All
live,
right, we're
Suki. We're
live.
live. Wow, second time
I'm
today.
alive.
I'm alive. You ever see Young Frankenstein? One of my favorites.
Oh, I don't think I have. Is that terrible that I haven't seen Young
Suki,
Frankenstein?
come on, we can't go on.
I know
like
this is like a cult.
You know the
classic, I
song "We Can't Go On Together."
Yeah.
You and I can't go on
With
like this if you
Suspicious.
haven't seen these classic movies.
I haven't.
All right, let's go through it real quick. Young
Wait.
Frankenstein. No.
Sorry to
Blazing-
interrupt.
Blazing Saddles, yes.
We got.
You're overpowering Suki as usual.
I am.
Blazing
Yeah, we
Saddles,
need,
yeah.
we
All
need
right,
Suki to Suki's volume.
Suki's volume needs to come up. Up. Suki, talk for me.
Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hello, hello.
Hold on, let me
Hello,
fix it
hello.
over here. I'll fix it on the control
Hello,
board.
hello.
Yeah, go back in that
Hello
3/4 machine
again.
and fix
There
it.
we go. Hold on a
Hello.
second. Hold on.
Let Suki talk.
Just thought I'd let you know.
She
I
good?
think
There.
about
Okay,
you.
bye-bye.
So here we go. As we're
Start
loading
over
up,
again.
Philly Kid, Suki. So Blazing Saddles. You've
We're
seen
gonna.
or
Why?
not?
I think you have to start it all over again
We
because
gotta
my.
start all over
Yeah.
again? Yeah, but this isn't going to be seen anyway.
Oh, okay.
We didn't start the show yet.
Oh, I thought we
This-
did.
Yeah, no, this is just our startup.
Okay.
We could do that. You know what? That's a nice conversation.
Yeah, we could do that.
We can use it for the beginning. Anyway, everybody, listen, we're back. If you were watching us record our live show earlier on, you saw an amazing show. Things that were done with helium balloons that have never been done before. Of
You're so
course,
silly.
we had to have a laughing fit in the middle of it.
Ay.
And you saw some great people. Allison Strong, actress, singer, songwriter.
Amazing actress.
And Steve Gaspar, Grammy nominated musician from the Hollywood All Stars.
I want to see them play. I really want to see them play. I mean, when I tell you, I mean, it's really good. If you like a wall of music, horn section, all of the above, 13-piece band. It's a 13-piece band.
It's like a double feature today. A Suki and Scott show double feature.
Double feature.
Suki. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, starting on Monday, all of our Suki and Scott shows are going to be seen on the channels of the USA Today network. That's 5 days a week, every single morning at 11 a.m. Eastern time. USA Today channels and Suki. We just continue to take the world by storm.
You know, we continue to shine a light on people who we find interesting. A lot of people who are doing great things all around this great United States of ours. And so many people who are just completely underrated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we have gotten to know some incredible musicians, amazing comedians, talented artists,
actors,
actresses, and also just, you know, for us, it's a trip down nostalgia lane.
Always, yeah.
Nostalgia.
I think we have the most
Nostalgia.
fun, right? Because
Yeah.
last week we had Debbie Gibson on, so we were singing all of Debbie's songs.
80s.
Right? We were doing Grease and all of her stuff. George Lopez the week before. So I think this is show number 405, probably, Sue.
I think it's like more like 8.
8?
Because we've been doing
Yeah.
doubles
Oh,
sometimes.
we've been doing
yeah,
double
yeah,
shows.
yeah.
They're working us like dogs here, Suki. I think we need more money. We got to have more money. Anyway, so listen, we have comedian Greg Warren is coming up. Then on the other side of Greg, we got a Hollywood filmmaker, Jesse V. Johnson, who has not 1, not 2, but 3 movies about to come out here in 2023, and they're all action adventure type movies,
Which we love.
So he's going to be fun to talk to. Let's get it started. Should we go? Should we just go?
Absolutely. I'm
Here we
ready
go.
for it.
Jeffrey, let's get it going in 3, 2, and 1.
The Suki and Scott Show.
This is one of the funnest shows I've ever done.
Lady, when you're with me, I'm smiling.
It's musical. It's magical.
Suki and Scott, that's 7 of hearts. Exactly. This is a sexy show. Someone's getting some action.
Now, these larger-than-life personalities are on an exciting new journey as they bring you the Suki and Scott Show.
You guys nailed it. You're great. You ask great questions. You listen.
I answered you because I have respect for you guys, and it was a question respectfully put.
The Suki and Scott Show is your one-stop destination for humor,
You like De Niro and Cape Fear. Counselor.
entertainment,
Jesse's girl.
Wonderful.
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
and optimism.
You guys have such amazing energy.
Ultraviolet light, it gets in there and it just fights the kung flu, is that right? Okay.
Let's laugh together.
I love him.
The Suki and Scott Show.
That's the best intro for a show I maybe have ever seen. Your intro is fantastic.
Gotta love Eric Roberts.
I know. That was a good interview, too.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're live. Suki, we are live.
We're live here at the Suki and Scott Show.
We record the show live, basically, is what we're doing. You get the raw version, the mistakes, the cursing, the laughing, the behind the scenes.
I don't know about the
stuff.
cursing
No,
and just the behind the scenes stuff.
Anyway, so listen, we're live.
Just the creativity that goes into something.
And earlier we were talking about, because we were talking about being live, and I was like, it's alive. Suki, have you ever seen Young Frankenstein? And she said,
no, I haven't.
And I said, Suki, we can't go on together if you don't start to see these classic movies. So then I said, Blazing Saddles.
I did.
You saw Blazing Saddles?
Of course, I dated a guy that was his thing. So I saw Blazing Saddles. Yeah.
Okay, so all right, so you're good on that.
I dated this guy. I dated this guy, and he had it on.
He made me watch it.
So we watched it.
Animal House?
Of course.
How about History of the World Part 1?
No. That's Mel Brooks, right?
All Mel Brooks.
I know.
High Anxiety?
No, is that Mel Brooks?
Oh, so good, Suki.
I don't know.
High Anxiety. Whenever you're near.
Animal House I've seen several times.
I watched that.
Blazing Saddles, I think I've seen several times.
Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, I mean, that's all good stuff.
Cleavon Little, Gene Wilder. Half the stuff in those movies you can't even say today.
I don't know, but is it a classic? It's a classic, right?
It's a classic comedy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's always a line with comedy that, kind of transcends things.
Young Frankenstein.
Remember, comedians are the ones that make really awful things digestible for the rest of us,
fun.
Right?
We're going to talk to Greg Warren, who's an amazing stand-up comic. He's got a new show out right now called The Salesman. And Suk, I got to tell you, he loves talking about peanut butter and the stuff that he talks about.
Does he know about you?
Listen, I love peanut butter too. The things I do with peanut butter. No, but it's just so funny because you think, how much time can you spend on
peanut butter?
It's great. It's funny stuff. I think he was a peanut butter salesman, if I'm not correct. Yeah. Also went to MSU.
He was in Procter and Gamble,
he
right?
Worked at Procter and Gamble. He was a wrestler in college. We got so much to talk about, but he's got this new special out on YouTube. He's been on all the late night shows and Comedy Central. And then later on, we have a gentleman by the name of Jesse V. Johnson, who has worked with Spielberg and all the big directors. And he's got 3 action features that are wrapping up right now. All with John Malkovich is in one, and what's his name? Aaron Eckhart. Who's played the president on a couple movies. So it's really cool. But Suk, listen, before we get to those guys, real quick, you remember how a couple weeks back?
I always wonder. I always get nervous. I always get nervous.
What are we doing?
Suk, really quickly.
And by the way, for Jesse, I have a really cool
trivia game,
movie game.
Oh my gosh, I might not be that
it's
good.
2 actors, same character. So I'm going to give him 2 actors who have played the same character.
Okay, great.
And he's got to tell me what movie. It's going to be fun. But anyway, so a couple weeks ago, Suki and I are in the elevator coming up to this fine studio here at Lee Moore Media, and she was frantically trying to get a pair of Nikes for her son that they're only a limited edition. However much they were, Suki's loaded to the gills. Doesn't matter. But she couldn't get in. She couldn't order them. But she tells me that her son is he's like all the young boys. They're all sneakerheads now, and everybody's people are wearing sneakers with suits. It's insane. Everybody's got the high top Nikes. So I came across on Insta. I think it was Instagram.
It was Insta, I believe.
With these new toilets, Suki, which you absolutely have to get
for my son.
For your son, take a look at these toilets. They're custom-made toilets. Off of the Nike shoes.
Oh my God! Off of Air Jordans.
Isn't that cool? Those your son would never get off.
He would never get off the bowl if that was it.
How cool are those toilets?
Can you imagine? You wonder if Michael Jordan's like, what is going on here? Like, this is like, talk about the real throne, right?
You talk about greatness and Air Jordan. Well, there you go. Your sneakers have been out there. I wonder how much Michael Jordan got paid just for the logo. Right, Nike and because he still gets a gazillion dollars from.
I don't think I think he gets more than.
Can you imagine?
Well, you saw the Nike is there a Nike documentary?
Well, there's
there's
Ben
a movie
Affleck
coming
and those
out.
Guys.
Yeah, it's talking about Phil.
But I don't
think they talk about the deal between him
and they're not talking about these new toilets.
And MJ.
But listen,
But would you use a toilet like that?
Absolutely, Suki.
Would you feel like you could jump a little bit after you'd make your deposit? Would you feel like you could jump like Michael Jordan?
If you pump up those high tops, you're going to feel a little lighter and a little bouncy.
No, but it's a toilet, so you have to release.
Yes. Well, I'm telling you, after you go, you're going to feel lighter. No.
I always do.
Listen, all I'm saying is for his next birthday or next holiday, Christmas, you got to install one of those toilets.
Thanks. I'm going to do
get
that.
you the hookup for that. I think you could. Jeff, go to the other one.
I wonder how much it costs.
Right there,
Yeah,
the one
that
on the
one.
right that looks
Yeah,
just like the shoe with the black Nike. That's the one you got to get for your kid.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
He will love you, but that's better than any Atari.
Speaking about toilets, did you ever look at like back in the day? There used to be like different colored toilets, not just white.
Yeah, you got to go white.
You remember my friend used to have a black toilet.
Ooh,
And you ever, like,
how about the off whites?
but how about a black toilet and you make a deposit?
Ah, Jesus. You always have to take the show down to another level.
Speaking about peanut butter.
Yeah, speaking of peanut butter. And also, before we get to Greg, who's standing by, a very funny man. You're going to love him. Did you see who's on the cover of the Sports Illustrated?
I did.
Greg, Jeff, put that up, would you? Martha Stewart.
How hot
Suki.
does she look?
She looks absolutely amazing.
That's 81 years old.
Suki, is that her head on somebody else's body?
I kind of was thinking the same
what is
thing.
happening here?
But she was a model prior to that,
Yeah.
and I don't know.
Like, is that Elle McPherson's body?
Is that photoshopped? God bless Martha for representing 81 years old, going out
Wild.
there. She said that she stopped eating carbs. She was doing more
Fantastic.
Pilates.
More what?
Pilates.
Pilates?
She's doing more Pilates.
Pilates.
But
That's
and she felt very confident, obviously, in that to be the cover woman. I think it's incredible, but is it real in the world that we look at? Is that real?
Yeah, I mean, look how good she looks. I feel like that's like a Photoshop. Is that Christy Brinkley's body right there?
You think that's a Photoshop?
No, well, obviously
Obviously
Sports
not.
Illustrated wouldn't do that, putting her on the cover. But it's
I think
amazing.
that's her body. It's immaculate.
Yeah,
Immaculate.
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 Pilates.
Pilates.
So anyway, so yeah,
It's
that's
one of
what
those
they got
days.
going over there, and
I like it. I like that. I'm really proud of Martha. I think she's raising the bar because 81 is the now 31.
Yeah, and on the other,
So-
the other version of they always
For
do
guys, 81 is
91,
disastrous.
yeah, 81 is 91. They have alternate versions. I'm wondering if Snoop Dogg's going to be on one of those swimsuit covers. So
Well,
whoever Martha is,
yeah,
Snoop's
Snoopy's
not far
there.
behind.
Snoop.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen,
Snoopy.
Greg Warren, stand-up comedian extraordinaire. He's got a new special out on YouTube, I believe, called The Salesman. Here's a little clip, and then we're going to bring Greg in on the other side. Take a look.
This year, Skippy had some metal particles in their peanut butter, and they had to pull it off the shelves. And you guys are like, well, Greg, it's never happened with organic peanut butter. Yeah, that's because they've only sold like 30 jars of that stuff, right? You know what I'm talking about? The organic peanut butter? It's got like an inch of oil on the top of it. Looks like a science project on the grocery shelves. Well, Greg, that's how peanut butter naturally settles. Well, then cover it up. Nobody wants to see that. Greg, your peanut butter has preservatives in it. That's why it doesn't do that. Yeah, that's exactly why it doesn't do that. Yeah. Maybe we're trying to preserve people's appetites, right? Like, Greg, you just take a knife and you stir the jar and the oil goes away. Oh, now I'm supposed to help you make the peanut butter? Why don't you just hand me a bag of peanuts and a hammer next time? I'll smash them up myself. Me eater, you maker.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, it's so funny. So nice
Hey,
to see you,
guys.
Greg. Welcome to the show.
Man, it's really great to see you guys again. How you doing?
We're doing well.
Good,
Thank you so
my
much.
man. Listen, let's get right into this thing because I
Okay.
know peanut butter is your favorite top. You used to be a peanut butter salesman. Is that correct?
Well, let me be specific, Scott. I was a Jif salesman. Okay.
Jif salesman,
Oh,
which is
it's your favorite.
Yeah, which, as you say, is the finest. How do you become a Jif salesman, and how well were you able to do money wise?
I did really well. I mean, I've never asked you what you make, Scott, but I was making 6 figures, at 33 years old with stock options and all that stuff. I was doing really
I want to
well.
work for Jif.
Wow, and that was for Procter and Gamble back in the day.
Procter & Gamble, I want to be clear. Procter & Gamble does not own Jif anymore, Scott. Do you guys know who owns Jif now?
No.
Smuckers, guys.
Oh, I was going to say Smuckers. I was like, guys.
Smuckers, Suki. Do you see what's going on here?
You see how serious he takes this?
Okay,
Smuckers owns peanut butter and jelly, Suki.
Okay, so have you had
Goober
the peanut? Yeah, have you done Goober Grape with the peanut butter and jelly in one jar?
Favorite.
How do you feel about that?
I'm a purist. I don't really acknowledge jelly, to be honest with you. I feel like that you're saying that a peanut butter sandwich needs something else, and it doesn't. I think all the jelly just detracts from what's special about that sandwich, which is the peanut butter.
I think Smuckers is Goober Grape, right? That's their thing. Listen, I'm a guy. I like everything very convenient, and just to have the 2 and the 1 was just more of a convenience.
He's a purist. You're not.
Yeah, no.
You're into convenience.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's dangerous all the way around. Smuckers has got peanut butter and jelly. If these guys ever get a hold of bread, I mean, that's. I think that's a Sherman antitrust situation. You can't own a whole sandwich. Like that's
all in one jar. The whole.
One, just right there.
Yeah,
just right there.
I love it, man. I love it.
And then finally, we're able to have peanuts in schools now.
Oh, is that a thing? Because
you could sit at a separate table,
Yeah, Greg,
but you can eat it.
But
you can eat it.
Allergy, man.
But allergies are real. But the fact that kids can actually have
eat it near the other kids.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Well, listen, we did some research at Procter & Gamble back in the day, and, we found out that these kids were faking. But, I'm not going to go off on a kid, guys. I'm not going to go there. But
listen,
I have some questions. All right.
While we're on the peanut butter topic, I just want to show you more from the special of the salesman. Just watch how he handles people in the audience who aren't on his side with the Jif. Jeff, take me to that, would you?
What kind of peanut butter you eat, ma'am? Jif. Yeah, I could tell. You have beautiful skin. I can see these things. Yeah. What about you, sir? Jif. Yeah. You're not just saying that, right? You, sir? What do you eat? You don't eat peanut butter? Okay, you can go. We don't need you here, sir. You just don't like it? Yeah. About you, sir? Yeah. Anybody eat Skippy? You can tell me. You eat Skippy, ma'am? You eat Skippy. Stop. Hey, you don't. You eat Skippy? And you like the taste of it? Ma'am, you have COVID. It affects your taste buds, ma'am. You have the Skippy variant, and you better get that checked out, man.
I love that.
Suki likes.
I actually have Skippy in my cabinets. True confessions. If we're going to talk about that.
Well, Suki, listen. Poor people have to eat too. My mother told me don't ever make fun of poor people, so I'm not going to belittle you or anything like that.
Hey, Greg, I gotta tell you, man, you're so right about, because sometimes I'm like, all right, let me try. It says organic, it's healthy, and you get it home, and it's got like that liquid on the top of it.
It's disgusting. I don't care for it. Yeah, I don't like it. Suki, I mean, the thing that I know you've done well in your career. Like, what did you do with your money? I don't understand. You're very talented.
It's on sale sometimes, and I just grab it because it's there. And you know what? I like the
sale.
I like the smooth Skippy, smooth. I don't like crunchy. Do you like crunchy?
I don't mind it. I've always felt, just so you guys know, a creamy outsells crunchy 4-1.
That's good to know.
He's got everything.
Yeah, those are 2001 numbers when I left the business, Suki. So I don't know if they hold up. I imagine the trends are probably similar today.
Oh God bless.
Yeah, I always felt a little guilty because we were charging the same for crunchy as we were for creamy. Which, if you think about it, like we didn't finish making that. You know, not the same amount of labor went into the crunchy as the creamy. We should have passed that on to you guys. You know?
Yeah. Oh,
we should have passed it on to the.
We should have, guys. I mean, at that point, maybe if we made that happen, Suki could afford some real peanut butter, and we wouldn't be in this situation.
And go to Jeff.
By the way, Greg, you know what she told me a couple of months ago? She also dabbles in Peter Pan.
Oh, come on, guys.
Remember in the 80s, like when Peter Pan commercials were so like, I mean, who didn't eat Peter Pan peanut butter?
Choosy moms, children of choosy mothers. That's who didn't eat Peter Pan peanut butter. Choosy moms choose Jif. Okay, if you're a mom that drinks in the afternoon, that's, you know, give your kid Peter Pan. That's a better choice for you. That's Peter Pan. Good God.
What do you think about those little to-go, like, you know, the really good organic ones that everyone's eating, like as a snack, you know, the little pockets?
Little pockets? I don't know.
I sort of take offense of you trying to shove really good in front of organic, but it's fine. It's a convenient. It's a convenience product. It's fine. But I mean, I think your main 18-ounce creamy or crunchy Jif. That's the horse. That's the horse
I feel
of
like
the
I
category.
gotta go out and get Jif
18,
now.
by the way, 18 ounce.
Nothing
more,
nothing less.
18
Yeah, I don't know how often you eat the sandwich. I'd rather if you get a 4-pound and you got 6 kids and you're going through it in a week, fine. But I'd rather you have a fresh product. You know.
I need a peanut butter sandwich.
I know. I'm hungry.
I'll get you guys some. I'm coming to this city soon. I'll get you guys some peanut butter. It's no
Greg,
problem.
you know what's great? You got this show.
I do know what's great, Scott. Jif. It's what I've been trying to tell you. I mean,
we got to get Jif as a sponsor. For this
know,
show.
right?
The folks at Nate Land and 800 Pound Gorilla, you guys got together. You make this special. You put it right up on YouTube. And the beautiful thing is, I know there have been a bunch of stories where comedians have put stuff up on YouTube and then Netflix takes it. Next thing you know, but the beautiful part about this technology that we live in right now is that you could do just that. Your own special. You don't have to wait for anybody to do it for you. You get it up there and you show the other powers that be exactly what you have.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of with this one. First of all, Nate's career is kind of on fire these days, and he's got a big following, and he wanted to make 4 specials that would appeal to his audiences, which is basically it's a family friendly thing. You could watch with your kids. I promise that doesn't mean lame. There's some pretty edgy discussions, peanut butter related, potato chip related, that kind of thing. But yeah, no, and so really we just want as many people to see it as possible. And I think YouTube these days, that's it's great because it doesn't take much. just type in Greg Warren, the salesman, you're there.
Comes right up. Absolutely. It comes right up. That's where I was watching. It was great.
So Greg, obviously the true story is that you quit Procter & Gamble to become a comedian. Now, was this always a passion of yours, and you were just like, what made you pivot and say, you know what, I'm going to pull the trigger? Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few things. One thing in particular I'm reminded of. Do you guys remember Kevin Pollak?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a very funny comic. He's still a very, very funny comic. But he was in that movie A Few Good Men and several other movies. Yeah, Lieutenant Weinberg. Yeah.
Who's going to do it? You, Lieutenant Weinberg?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I was doing a show. I was working at Procter & Gamble, and I was, dabbling in comedy, and I was getting better. And I was doing a show one weekend in Dayton, Ohio, and I got to open for Kevin, and the place was sold out. He's a great comic, and I had good shows. And at the end of the week, Kevin was like, "Yeah, man, I heard you don't do this full time." I was like, "Nah." He goes, "You could."
Wow.
And I don't know. I got to work the next morning, and I tried to work on peanut butter, and I was like, I knew at some point I was going to leave, so I did.
Yeah. Why work on peanut butter when you can make money talking about it and make people laugh?
I love it.
The other thing I love about you when you look at your career, you went to Mizzou as they like to call it,
wrestler.
And you were like an All-American college wrestler, right?
Yeah, I got the cauliflower ear. I don't know if you can see that.
Is that you?
Look at you right here.
Oh boy, that picture has come back to haunt me several times.
Did you post it on the Instagram?
I did not. No, so I was pretty good in college, but it didn't start all that good. I had some rough goes early on. My freshman year, we wrestled the University of Northern Iowa, and they were ranked like 5th in the country. And I just had a bad match. I kind of ran out of gas in the third period, and I was just laying on the mat. I just couldn't get up. I had nothing left in the tank, and this guy was just killing me. And the referee started making fun of me. He was like, he was playing to the crowd. He was like killing. He's like, "Are you okay down there, son?" And the crowd's like laughing like it's a comedy show. And then my coach never let me forget that. I mean, like if I had one bad practice, Warren, that reminds me of when you laid down at Northern Iowa. Every time you laid down at Northern Iowa, even if I had a good practice, Warren, you got after it today. Good job. Bunner, you're pathetic. You remind me of when Warren laid down at Northern Iowa. You know what? He always said like, he always said it reminded him.
Please. Hold,
No. That's the funniest thing. Gunther, you are good.
Right. He gives him a compliment.
You remind me of Warren.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And he always said reminded, like he mentioned it every 3 days. I don't think he needed to be reminded of it. That's not reminded. That's just minded or whatever. I think every morning his alarm clock went off and he's like, "Well, I better not lay in bed like Warren did on that mat at Northern Iowa. Time to get up."
Oh,
you know those college wrestling coaches, man. They're like football coaches, right? They're tough.
Oh, Scott, I'm not married, and I don't know if I'm going to get married ever, but if I do, I'm worried about that part. You know that thing where they always say, like, does anybody have any reason why these two should not be married? Speak now. Warren laid down at Northern Iowa. Don't marry Warren. He's going to lay down in your marriage like it's Northern Iowa.
Oh, that's so funny. Man.
Oh,
that is. So
my God!
It almost reminds me of what was it, Airplane, when they keep reminding Ted of when he flew over Nacho Grande.
Yeah.
What's his name? Who was the star? He's flying the plane.
Leslie Nielsen.
No, not the. What was the guy who was the star? He was flying.
Robert. Yeah, that's the actor's Robert something. But yeah, Ted. It was Ted.
Right. His name was Ted, and everything. It was. They always reminded him of his failure when he flew missions over Nacho Grande.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny, man.
And then Leslie Nielsen would come in like every 6 seconds. "I just wanted to say good luck. We're all counting on you."
Yeah, we're all counting on you.
Hey man, you were mentioning those movies early. You left out Top Secret. Do you remember that one?
Yes, with Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer, yeah, I love that movie. Was that Mel Brooks? I think it was.
I don't remember, but I
it may not have been. Maybe it was Zucker's. Yeah.
So funny, man. You listen. You got such a great thing going on. We love those stories of people who like you just changed your life and said, "I'm leaving here and doing this," and you turn it into something great. When you were wrestling, is your dad still alive?
Yeah,
Okay,
he's still alive. Yeah.
When you were wrestling, I'm sure he was real proud of. I know because you were an All-American. You can't take.
take that away from him.
I think in 1991, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm sure your dad was proud of you of that. What was his response on your parents when you're like, "Hey, I'm leaving this job with the peanut butter at Procter and Gamble. I want to go be a comedian."
He wasn't in favor of it, Scott. He basically, I was 33 and I went to him, I was like, "Dad, I'm going to leave. I'm going to be a comedian." He's like, he didn't say anything for like 10 seconds. And he goes, no, definitely not. Definitely not. I'm like, "I wasn't asking permission, Dad. I'm 33. Like, I didn't ask you if I could do it. I'm just telling you that I did it." And then I don't know. He shut down for a while. My mother was very supportive from the get-go.
What would your wrestling coach have told you if you told him you were going into comedy?
Well, Warren, I mean, you're not going to do any worse than you did at Northern Iowa. I can assure you of that. I wish you the best of luck. I mean, it's not going to be any more embarrassing than it was at Northern Iowa, Warren. That was a humiliating performance. It was bad for all of us.
Oh, I love it.
I swear to
One
God.
sec. Lord, do me a favor. Just, you gotta just lower Suki's volume. Just a hair.
I'm dying.
That is
Northern
so
Iowa.
funny.
I want to go see a wrestling match in Northern Iowa just for that. Oh my God!
It was brutal, man. It was the worst. It was one of the worst things that's ever happened to me.
Moment of your life at that point? I mean, before was that kind of the pinnacle of your high school? Like, what the heck?
That was college, but yeah, that was
college.
terrible, and it got worse. Here's the funny thing on that story. So the rest of my team did not do that well either. And he made us like go sit in a hotel room, all of us in one hotel room. We had to cram on these 2 beds and sit there and watch the videotape of the match. Okay. And the guy before me did bad, very bad, but not near as bad as I did. And he was getting yelled at. And he kept going over the videotape. Let's go back and look at that. Look at him, how he just collapses out of bounds like a fish. And so I'm just thinking, well, this guy's getting it. And I did 10 times worse. He's going to shoot me. And he goes, Warren, this guy, Aaron Martinez, who was one of our wrestlers, was videotaping that night. He goes, Martinez screwed up the tape and somehow didn't get your match. All I can say is you're an embarrassment. And I was like, I've never loved a man more than Aaron Martinez that day that he screwed up and didn't get that match because it was terrible.
We all remember old high school coaches. My kids play sports, and I'm always like looking at the coach. They are just too nice nowadays.
Oh, you can't be nasty.
Oh, yeah.
How kind coaches are. My coach used to like read us the riot act, like kind of like what your college coach just did.
My high school coach was my dad. And my mom, one time my mom was like, I don't like the way that your college coaches yell at you at the match. I'm like, well, you didn't seem to have a problem with the guy that did it in high school all the time. You actually slept with him every night. I mean, what?
That is so
yeah, my dad still watches tapes of me wrestling in high school and critiques them.
Oh my
I'm like,
God.
I'm 54. He's like, what are you doing in this match? What were you doing? I don't remember, Dad. I quit wrestling 32 years ago. You quit wrestling in the middle of this match. That's when you quit wrestling.
The name of the show is called The Salesman. Greg's stand-up act. It's fantastic. You can catch it on YouTube. All you got to do is go to YouTube, type in his name and The Salesman, and the whole show comes up. There's clips that come up, and it's just really, really funny.
I have the last question about peanut butter, if I can.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Greg, have you ever stuck your hand into the Jif jar and just eaten peanut butter?
Of course. Yeah, of course, man. Who hasn't? There's nothing wrong with that.
I've never done that.
Oh, forget it.
That's like not thing. It's
not like
a
family jar, not a shareable jar, but when it's my own jar.
No, he does it with his family jar.
Oh yeah, I also drink milk from the carton too.
It's disgusting.
Screw him, Greg. Screw him. That's what I said.
You're an animal, man.
I'm an animal. I'm crazy. Anyway, so listen. I want people to go check this out. It's The Salesman on YouTube. If enough people check it out, you get a couple million views. I guarantee you the folks from Netflix are like, hey, we got to put this thing on our air.
Absolutely. And I actually see you having your own sitcom for some reason. I'm looking at you and I'm going, this is meant for sitcom glory.
You know what? Greg is the guy.
Greg's story is sitcom glory.
He's got the really smoking hot wife who's about half his age.
I like that. So far.
Like Ed O'Neill on Modern Family.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you're a peanut butter salesman, but you got the hot wife anyway.
And at night you coach.
Maybe Martha Stewart. She's looking good. I mean, yeah.
And at night you coach your wrestling team.
Yeah, at night you coach the kids' wrestling team.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
you bring all your
gold right here.
Your life.
I'm starting to see it. Right. Warren, if you get that sitcom, you better not mess it up like you did in Northern Iowa.
Let's just keep throwing up that picture. Greg, listen, man, thank you so much.
I love you guys, man.
You guys are
I really
amazing.
appreciate it, man. Yeah, great talking to you.
You are a funny guy, man.
Can I
Anyone
just
who could
ask
do
about the
5
pictures
minutes
behind?
on peanut butter. Yeah. Who's back there?
Who's back there? I need to know.
Okay, let's see. That's Warren Zevon.
I thought so.
That is Warren G. Harding, Leslie Ann Warren, Warren Moon, Warren Sapp, Chief Justice Earl Warren, and I'm covering up Warren Haynes from the Allman Brothers. And then there's the movie poster from War and Peace.
War and Peace. I love it. We will never have another guest that has a Warren G. Harding picture behind him.
No.
Ever. Greg, thank you so much, man. An absolute pleasure. The Salesman on YouTube. You got to check it. Listen, you don't even have to leave your bed to watch this thing. You can watch it right on your phone. It is really very, very funny. Greg, thank you so much, my friend. Listen.
Thanks.
Next special, please come back, my man. And bring
you guys are pros, man. You guys are pros.
Wait, hold on. Wait, Greg, I want us to lay out for a minute. Would you say that again? The compliment.
You guys are pros. You guys are pros, definitely. Yeah, I sincerely appreciate it. Yeah, you got it's a pleasure being on with you. Yeah.
Thank you. But what would your coach actually say about us?
Warren, these people are professionals. They do their job, unlike you did at Northern Iowa when you laid down and embarrassed the community.
I love it. Greg Warren, ladies and gentlemen, the Salesman on YouTube. Greg, I swear, man, anytime you want to come back, you let us know, bud.
Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. And this is going to go on all of our distribution, so you get a whole lot of exposure from it. Thank you, my man.
Amazing. It's great.
Take care, bud.
Bye, guys. Thanks again.
So funny, Suki. So funny. He's good, right? I mean, listen.
Warren. You're an embarrassment.
I could see the coach talking to his wife.
Yes.
You let me down like Warren did.
As he laid down on the mat.
Man, that is so great.
Northern Iowa.
Greg Warren, the Salesman, on I want to say Netflix, but
I've
it's
never
YouTube.
met somebody who had a wall of Warren.
Warren, that is so funny. Yeah. And the funny thing is, he won't even say anything. You brought it up, right? I'm like, is that Leslie Warren? Leslie Ann Warren in the back.
I was wondering who that picture was.
So good. Oh, my God. Well, listen, we still have Jesse V. Johnson coming up, Hollywood director extraordinaire, plus also a stuntman, Sue. Jesse is stuntman, stunt coordinator in some of the biggest films you've heard of. So he's coming up in just a second. But listen, if you weren't with us earlier today, I want to play this one more time because, you always have new people watching. Suk, back when in our first iteration of the show, comedian Greg Morton was on.
Hysterical.
And he literally did Star Wars, the entire series.
The trilogy, right?
In 60 seconds. So you be the judge. Greg Morton, comedian, insane or pure genius? Take a look.
But my favorite go-to thing is Star Wars. I love Star Wars. Oh, yeah. Let me do this for you.
Go ahead.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Join me, Luke. Join me on the dark side. I'll never join you. Hello, Master Luke. Master Luke.
Red leader to gold leader standing by. Gold leader, red leader standing by. Look out, Porkins. Shut down all the garbage cans with the detection level. 3PO, shut down all the garbage cans with the detection level.
Hey, shut them down. Shut them all down. They're dying all too. Uti Waka local solo. Utu Jabba Waka. Yes, go ahead, young Skywalker. Join me and your father on the dark side of the Force.
Do or do not. There is no try. Yes.
Man, I'm glad I asked that question. Holy cow. Oh my goodness, Soup. The reviews from News 12 Plus are in. My mother wrote their chemistry is off the charts. There's your promo right there. Listen, we are the Suki and Scott Show, and you can find us every Sunday morning at 11 on News 12 Plus.
And we are brought to you by our good friends Barish and McGarry, lawyers to the 9/11 community.
Yes, Suk.
Greg
Moore, how funny is
I say
Greg
he's
Moore?
genius, sheer
Oh, my
genius.
God.
I mean, that was one of the. There were so many bits that he did for us that interview.
So funny.
We got to get him back on.
And folks, yes, still rolling along on News 12 Plus here in the New York area. We start on Monday, 5 days a week at 11 a.m. on USA Today, their channel of streaming network. And it's just, Suka, we're all over the place.
We're all over the place.
We
We're
got
busy.
shows going out everywhere, Suki.
Listen, people want to see some good news and like talk to incredible people who are doing wonderful things. And so we like to shine a spotlight on all of that.
Yeah, one of those people is Jesse V. Johnson. He is a Hollywood. Suk, I'm going to put him in legendary status
Legendary?
right now. Yeah, legendary. He doesn't have one, not two, but 3 movies that he's wrapping up for 2023.
Incredible.
One is One Ranger. One is Chief of Station. The other one, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. He'll let me know. It's Boudica. I hope it's Boudica because that's how I've been pronouncing it. But he'll check it.
I can't help you with that one.
He's done so many great movies.
I feel like Boudica.
It's got to be Boudica.
Yeah.
Right? The one thing I didn't tell Jesse, you and I have had Hollywood directors on.
Yes.
Shane Stanley. A bunch of directors.
Shane's become a good friend of ours.
Shane's become a great friend.
Actually, he's offered parts.
Suki, and that's what I was getting to.
His movie.
What I wanted to let you know, what Jesse, we didn't put this in the rider, the contract with the agents and everybody. Was that once you appear on the show, you then have to reciprocate and give us some type of part in one of the next movies.
You
now, whether it's no, together. Like, so we play ourselves, or we play like, news anchory, Entertainment Tonight type of people.
Because there's so many shows with news anchors.
Where you just see us on the TV. That's all in the background. Whether it's this year, 2028, 2030, doesn't matter. They just have to come through and put us in. That's all. But anyway, so Jesse's got a new movie, the one we're going to show you right now. It's called One Ranger. Thomas Jane, John Malkovich is in it. Really cool concept. It's a Texas Ranger who's recruited by British intelligence.
Okay.
And they bring him over to the UK to stop a terrorist attack. So you got this really gritty Texas Ranger who goes over to work with their intelligence agency.
Which would be John Malkovich, right?
Right. John Malkovich and those guys. And listen, you have Malkovich in a movie. You
Winning.
can't go wrong. So anyway, Jesse Johnson is coming up. Here's a little bit of One Ranger, and then we bring him in on the other side. Take a look.
Ranger Alex Tyree, British Intelligence. We're here with the approval of your State Department. I've been sent to ask you to go into Mexico and collect a prisoner. We believe he is planning a terrorist event in London.
Shame if it is, Ranger. I think I'd have liked going up against you.
You knew they were going to try to spring him.
He's going to launch a dirty bomb. Help me track him down.
You've already talked to the Major, haven't you? Right.
You're in the UK now. Protocol is everything. Wouldn't you agree that that was quite reckless?
There's 2 types in this game. Those on a run. Those doing the hunting.
We've got their attention.
Fortune favors the bold.
Show me them hands.
Good luck to you, Ranger.
Looks so good,
Baby.
Jesse.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on, Jesse. You good? Let me hear you.
I'm here. Can you
There
hear
he
me?
is.
Wonderful.
Baby. Jesse, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. Very happy to be here. Thank you for having me on.
It's amazing. Listen, Suk, if you look at his list of movies,
Gee whiz,
just
Jesse.
these 3. How do you have 3 of them coming out at once, Jesse?
You work very hard through COVID. I put everything together, and the things sort of fell into place in such a way that they were almost on top of each other, back to back, which is one of the most wonderful positions to be in as an independent filmmaker. It's also one of the most frustrating because you literally don't have room to breathe. But I was very lucky, got to work with some wonderful people, and it's doing well.
And do we pronounce the last movie correct? Is it Boudica?
Boudica is the correct pronunciation. It's as it's spelt. They didn't really have a language that was written. They only had a spoken language, the Celts. So it was mispronounced for almost 2,000 years because of a Roman spelling that pronounced it Boadicea. And when I grew up, that's what it was at high school. It was only in this sort of like late 80s that they realized the actual pronunciation, the Celtic pronunciation, was the correct way to pronounce it. As her bitter enemies were the Romans, so they felt it was wrong to pronounce it.
And that one stars Olga Kurylenko. I think I'm saying her name right. She's also in Chief of Station with Aaron Eckhart, who I love. Aaron Eckhart. He was in one of the he was president. He was president with the White House. The White House Falls, and it just what a good looking man, Suki. He's a good looking dude. Aaron Eckhart.
He's up there, definitely.
But anyway,
he's an incredible performer. He's very, very physically adept, incredibly driven and focused. He's one of my favorites that I've worked with, Aaron. He really is.
Jesse, tell us about you fell in love with cinema through American Westerns.
I certainly did. I have a I grew up. I'm an autodidact, self-taught. I left school at 14. Wow. Worked as a sort of assistant at a movie studio, carrying the bags for the stunt coordinators, and just really got straight in. It was only late, sort of 20s that I started really reading on cinema and directors that I loved, and devouring movies. Maybe that weren't just 10 years old, but going back further, black and white, going back to the silent era, going to the Russian masters, going to the Italian masters, neorealism, and really bringing all that back in. But realizing after, a very comprehensive study of movies that the greatest mythology on film, in my opinion, is the American Western. Talking from, if you're talking about Hawks or Raoul Walsh or John Ford, you're talking about some of the greatest filmmakers that were ever born, that were ever directing, ever making movies, and they made predominantly Westerns because it was a format that was very close to Greek mythology in its own way, or Shakespearean England. It really lent itself very well to drama, and every 10 years or so, people say they're tired of Westerns, and they come back again. They come back in another, and people rediscover them and realize how wonderful and pure an art form they are, and how it allows for a dramatic situation to play out.
Well, everyone's having a love affair with Yellowstone right now.
Well, not anymore.
Not anymore, but yes. It's all over, but yes. But One Ranger is definitely reflective of your love affair.
One Ranger is actually, it's out right now on digital and on demand. It came out back on Suki de Mayo.
It did. You're right.
And it just looks like Thomas Jane is a incredible, like John Malkovich. Jesse, and I know you've worked with so many great actors, including our good friend Nina Bergman, who was on Hell Hath No Fury. She's been on the show a few times. Promoting this movie, and Suki, Nina and I had like this little flirtation.
You did.
We like
you got along quite well.
We got along well.
She's wonderful. She's an incredible.
I think she got a little crush on me, but I can't tell for sure.
She's tough as nails, man.
I know. What you talk about a badass chick, right? Yeah. But when you're working with guys like Malkovich and a Thomas Jane, is it almost like surreal for you as the director to kind of be telling these guys, if they're John Malkovich, if he's doing something wrong, or you want him to do something a different way? Do you have to like walk on eggshells, or you're allowed to just be the director and, hey man, I need you to do it this way?
Now you got two questions there. The first one is it surreal? And the answer to that is absolutely. Never get over it. You are looking through the monitor on your movie that you wrote, in many cases, at these people, these icons that you grew up loving, watching in your living room on the movie theater screen. And you have to pinch yourself sometimes to, and then you have to forget that and get back into the moment and be pragmatic and be a director and be professional. But yes, absolutely the most surreal thing imaginable. For me, it is even, not even necessarily with stars. I love stars, but, a big action sequence where you have, a dozen stuntmen and blanks and machine guns and special effects and 150 crew all standing by, and you're looking at that going, this is exactly what I dreamed about. This is what I wanted. This is what when I was suffering through the 10 years of sort of trying to make a living and trying to get forward, this is what I wanted. Now you've got it, baby. And it is surreal. It's an amazing experience, and probably one of the most wonderful jobs there is on earth. It really is an incredible job. And now getting to the second part of your question, Do you have to walk on eggshells around them? Yes, absolutely. Of course, you do. There are some of them, some less so, some more than others. There is a fun saying where they say, yes, he's a star, but he wants to be treated exactly like one of the boys.
Right
now, the moment that you treat him like one of the boys. I have a wonderful letter from John Malkovich, an email that I have framed on my office wall, which was before I'd worked with him on White Elephant, the film I did,
I remember White Elephant, yeah.
And I happened to change the dialogue the night before filming, which is something I often do. Something changes, the set changes, a character is no longer there because he's written out, so you have to adapt the dialogue. So I adapted the dialogue, and I got a 2-page email back, which was exactly John Malkovich dialogue. If you read it in John Malkovich's voice because it's so eloquently written.
Yeah,
but a lot more swear words than usual. A lot more, and it's very good. I have it framed on my office. Remind myself, if I ever feel I'm getting a little bit big-headed or overconfident. But once I called him up and we evened it out, it was fine. It was wonderful. He's one of the most generous, people to work with, and absolutely no pretensions.
Yeah,
but you don't want to change his dialogue the night before filming.
I'll tell you, one of my favorite movies with him, and I know every time it comes on, you got to watch it. When he was Cyrus the Virus on Con Air.
Yeah, he's fabulous. He's
good, man. He's
incredible.
So good.
And he works non-stop. He does theatre. He's doing it in different languages. He came to our film in England, One Ranger, from doing theatre in France.
Wow.
But not just in French. He was speaking in a southern dialect of French, a form of colloquial French.
Wow.
Which is and he'd learned, of course, the entire script, and just a very, very impressive actor who loves the craft, who loves what he does, and enjoys it. And as a director, he gives you lots of little things to work with, like eye movements and things where you go, oh my God, that's such a great idea, and then you get to take credit for it later. So he's a wonderful actor to work with, and really a lot.
But 30 years, Jesse, did you ever have a moment of looking back and saying 30 years I've been doing this, starting out as a stuntman, moving into this role as director, and now 3 movies? Have you ever had a moment of reflecting and going, wow?
Yes, all the time.
The answer is yes.
Yes, yes.
No, I'm joking. I think you have to maintain a childlike sort of outlook on things like time gone by and things going wrong. You can't get too wound up in a ball and go, oh my God, what am I doing with my life? What have I done? Because as I say, it's a joyous career to be in. You're bringing joy. You're working really hard, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week sometimes, to make a person on their sofa laugh or throw their popcorn in the air with excitement. This is what you're doing. It's a really pure endeavor. It's a wonderful endeavor, and it's worth the energy. It's really good. You bring the amount of letters I get, more now than I did early on in my career, that say that, you changed, from Brazil, from the Middle East, saying you changed the way I look at the world. I now work out because I want to be like Scott Adkins in your movies. Or,
wow.
And this is a wonderful thing. The Hell Hath No Fury one got lots and lots of those kind of, letters. Some of the other films don't get any letters. Some get mean letters, but you realize you're touching people around the whole world with what you do, and it really makes it worthwhile. So, And I think you do have to have a sort of a slightly childlike curiosity and sense of fun and enjoyment. So I don't dwell on the time spent in so often. I mean, I've got daughters now that are almost grown-ups, and they were born after I was directing, and it is sort of surreal realizing that time is going by. But I feel I'm slowly getting a better handle on my craft.
Listen, you know that your 18-hour days probably fly by because you love what you're doing and you're just constantly creating, and it's probably absolute chaos on the set all day. And that 18 hours probably feels like 5 at the end of the day. So yeah, when you love what you're doing, it goes quick.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the hardest time is between movies. Those times where you get real life is very difficult because you go from Utica.
I like that.
I'm existing in Roman-occupied England 2,000 years old, and everything I'm thinking about is to do with this make-believe of being in Roman-occupied England of 2,000 years old. Or Hell Hath No Fury. I'm in 1944 France, in southern France. So everything. So it's almost a disappointment when you have to come back to 21st century Los Angeles, deal with insurance and taxes and things like that.
Yeah,
I really rather prefer dealing with the Romans, to be honest.
A lot hard. It's so much harder in this world. So One Ranger is out. That's available on demand. Boudica and Chief of Station. I'm really interested in Chief of Station. I love the CIA spy movies. When are those two available?
So we have. I'll quickly cut back to One Ranger. One Ranger comes out from Lionsgate the June 12th, 13th on DVD and Blu-ray, and everyone should buy it on Blu-ray because there's some really cool behind-the-scenes interviews with me talking about how we pulled off the stunts, things like that. All the birth of where the idea came from. And it's pretty cool behind the scenes that Lionsgate put together. They really, really have been great on this. They don't normally take on a small film like this and run with it, put it into theaters, put it out like this. So I have to thank them. And I just, I'm just so pleased with what they've done with this. We've been put out on the same platform as films that cost 10 times what we cost. So it's pretty brilliant. Boudica comes out hopefully from Saban towards the end of the year. It's a historical piece set 2,000 years ago, as we say, at the dawn of the the first millennia, when Britain was occupied by really awful Roman forces who were pretty dastardly, and this woman warrior rose from amongst the tribes, and she brought all of the tribes together and went toe to toe, nose to nose with the perhaps the most modern fighting force in the world at that time, and for a little while she won. But I'm not going to give it away. And then Chief of Station will be coming out probably first quarter of 24. It's a spy movie about a Chief of Station who's the head of a particular province, in this case Budapest, and his wife has mysteriously died. And as he starts to delve into her past, he finds out that she was involved in some things that may or may not be on the right side of the tracks. And so it's and as he finds out more information, he becomes at more risk, and people start to hunt him down. And it's a really great role for Aaron. We've got some great bad guys in it, some great cast around him. In many ways, for me, it was a bit of a throwback to the classic Cold War spy films that we saw in the 80s, pre Gorbachev and Reagan. When there was a wall that separated Germany, and you had these very, very interesting sort of cloak and dagger stories. And so it gave me a little bit of a chance to delve into that. Obviously it's a different time space, but in many ways the most advanced spies have gone back to an almost Stone Age way of communicating, because cell phones are just not trustworthy. They're too easy to hack. So they've gone back to the old ways, blind drops and brush passes and things like that. So it's a fascinating thing. It's they say that the Stone Age way is the best way. It's
it might be.
I can't wait to see it.
Electrical espionage is of such a high degree, and it is fallible. Whereas the old ways weren't. So
Jesse, before we get to our two actors, same character movie quiz, one name. One actor or actress you love to work with that you haven't yet.
I think Jessica Chastain, and as an actress, I think she's genius. Can't do any wrong in my book. And then as an actor, it would have been Harrison Ford for the longest time, but he's just his age has caught up with him a little bit, and I think he's wonderful. But that's actually out there working at the moment. I'd love to work with Kevin Costner. I think he's really brilliant. Really, really like what he's done.
Yellowstone just propelled him into a whole nother level too. It's wild.
I did two films with Tom Cruise where I was doing stunts. I was on MI3 briefly, and War of the Worlds I did from the beginning through to the end.
War of the Worlds. Yeah.
And watching him up close is it just is a filmmaking of a different level. You have an actor who's producing, and he's involved in every single facet of what's going on, and is so driven, is so passionate, and is so devoted to giving the best. It inspires everyone who works around him, and it's also intimidating because there is so much commitment. You look at that and you go, my God, I understand why he's so successful. Mm-hmm. Would I commit like that? I don't know. That's the big question. Wonderful. I would give one of the lesser fingers.
the pinky digit.
Incredible. But director-wise, I'm obsessed with directors. I watch them, and more than I do with the actors.
Well, tell us the directors who are the inspirations.
I was very lucky. I was unlucky because in 2008, stock market fell apart, and all of these wonderful films I had lined up to direct vanished. I had to beg for my stunt bag back. And over a year and a half, I had to go back to doing stunts, which at the time felt like an enormous fall from grace. But in reality, I worked with P.T. Anderson on The Master, Spielberg on Lincoln, and Kenneth Branagh on Thor. And those three directors gave me one of the greatest postgraduate courses in what it really took to make a movie. And I realized up to that point, I didn't have the places in the right position. And watching those guys work, it was, so those for me represent some of the greatest living directors at the moment.
Wow. Very amazing.
Awesome. Well, Jesse, listen.
It is time for your quiz.
Before we go,
oh no,
I have a little game called Two Actors, Same Character. So, and Suki hasn't seen these either. So you guys can play together. If you can't get it, she probably won't either.
I won't.
But they should be fairly easy. So I'm going to give you two actors' names.
Hold on 1 second. I dropped my mic.
Oh, did you? Okay. Well, Suki's getting that. I'm going to give you two actors' names, and you're going to tell me the character and or the movie that they have in common. Okay, but you'll probably know these because I kind of knew them off the bat too. So, Suk, if I said to you Christopher Reeves and Dean Cain, you would say
Superman.
Superman. Okay, so that we're off and running. So I got 5 of them.
I was ever on Superman 2.
Jesse got that one too.
Years old, I think.
So here you go, Jesse. So number 1, Daniel Craig and Timothy Dalton.
Oh.
Bond.
James Bond is the right answer. Alec Baldwin and the aforementioned Harrison Ford.
Jack Ryan.
Nicely done, my friend. You're 2 for 2. Suki.
No.
Gene Wilder and Johnny Depp. Come with me and you'll be
Charlie Chocolate.
In a world of pure imagination.
The funny thing is, I absolutely love Roald Dahl, the guy that wrote that. He wrote some of the darkest
tell her.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Tell her what the role is.
Oh.
Oh gosh. Now, of course, it's gone out of my mind.
Because it was 2 different names of movies, but it was the same character.
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka.
Okay, thank you very much,
In
Jesse.
a world of pure imagination.
That's good singing. You have a fabulous voice.
Jess, you need a singer for your movies? I'm ready to go, bud. You have me in the background in the lounge in Vegas.
I think a musical martial arts film has yet to be done. And I think it could be interesting.
I could learn martial arts very quickly.
They're so similar to doing choreography. I did a lot of music videos, and you put white shoes on the singers so you can see their feet. And then when we did martial arts, you also make sure the feet are slightly brighter color, the shoes, so you see them move when they do kicks.
Do you know what's never been done? A martial arts film starring a 55-year-old Jewish white guy who sings. That's never been done.
There you go.
Here we go. 2 more to go. I'll be impressed if you guys get this one. Alec Guinness and Ewan McGregor.
Ben Kenobi. Obi-Wan
Kenobi. Nicely done, my friend.
Wow, Jesse.
And here's the last one. Suki, I'll give you this one first.
Jesse.
Hey, Jesse, I'll give you this one first. Marlon Brando and Robert De Niro.
Vito Corleone.
Nicely done, my friend. Nicely done. Suki, tell him what he's won.
You won.
He's from the Corleone town of Corleone, but Vito, I can't remember his real name, but there you go. That'll be for someone else.
Yeah, Vito Corleone. That's right. It's right. And when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. They did play the same guy in 1 and 2. Well, listen, Jesse V. Johnson. You got one Ranger. That's on demand. So I know it's coming out on DVD, but right now you can get it on demand.
Yes.
Great. Okay. So yeah, one Ranger.
Streaming, Amazon, iTunes, all that kind of stuff at the moment. We have DVD coming in June, physical. They stagger them a little bit, because, for whatever reason.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks so cool. Texas Ranger recruited by British intelligence to stop a terror attack. And the Texas Ranger is one badass kind of guy if they're recruiting him to come over and help out.
Yeah.
The intelligence.
Really good fights. All of the special effects are real. The guns are shooting blanks. We didn't use any sort of CG muzzle flashes. This is all hands-on, hardcore stunts like like in the old days. It's worth seeing. They don't do it much like that anymore.
I'm watching. You know what? My wife's away getting drunk in Nashville. I'm going to watch that this weekend, tomorrow night.
Brilliant.
Jesse, thank you so much for taking the
Spending
time, my friend. Absolute honor. And just, listen, if you stop today, you've already had an amazing career, but I'm sure you're not done yet.
He's a young man. He's a
Thank
young
you very
man.
much, guys. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Take care, bud. Wow. What a great career, Sue. I love it. Directors are so friggin' smart. These guys are so smart.
Well, I mean, he was talking about he was immense, immersing himself in all these different, not only characters but time periods. To make sure the shots and the angles. I mean, yeah.
That's why movies take so long to make. And I wonder how many times.
Because historically correct, you want to be historically
right, and every little thing has to be correct. I wonder how many times when they say, "Okay, the movie's done, it's edited, it's finished." I wonder how many times they watch it
and reshoot
over and over. No, not even reshoot, but just watch it over and over again,
just to
make sure every little scene they
have asked him
is correct.
Next time. Next time.
On the next Suki and Scott show.
We will ask those
ladies
questions.
and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us. This was like a 2.5 hour extravaganza.
It was a great afternoon with our viewers. I love it.
Great afternoon with you guys. And listen, even though we're not in control, we still see all the comments that come up. We see all the conversations. We love everybody for watching the show.
Thank you.
Our loyal viewers, our new viewers. And spread the word. Spread the word, guys, because soon enough, we have to get the show into a studio with an audience. And you know who's going to be in that audience? The people who've been watching the show since the very beginning. Jeannie Clay, Cherry Hetrick, you guys are going to be right in the front.
Donna, Eduardo.
Everybody. You guys are all going to be right in the front.
We know you. We know where you live.
Yeah, we love you guys.
Yvonne Burns, don't worry.
Yvonne,
we won't forget you either, Yvonne. Or Ann Rothney. We won't forget you.
Who else?
Cherry Hatcher. We already said Cherry. Cherry's always there.
You guys are all going to be. We're gonna stack our studio audience.
Yep.
And you guys are all going to be on the show with us. Suki going to fly in and everything.
I rarely go anywhere these days.
You don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, another great show. And of course, what would we be without Philip J.Q.R. Paz? So we're going to leave you with another tune from Phil. We'll see you guys next week. But of course, we'll have a lot more news coming up and all kinds of new clips coming out. So ladies and gentlemen, have a great weekend.
Guys.
We'll see you guys later. Here's Philly Kid.
You can tell the world you never was my girl, or you can burn my clothes when I'm gone, or you can tell your friends just what a fool I've been and laugh and joke about me on the phone. You can tell my arms go back to the farm, you can tell my feet to hit the floor, or you can tell my lips to tell my fingertips they won't be reaching out for you no more. But don't tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, I just don't think he'd understand. And if you tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, he might blow up and kill this man. You can tell your ma I moved to Arkansas. You can tell your dog to bite my leg, or tell your brother Cliff, whose fist can tell my lip, he never really liked me anyway. Or tell your Aunt Louise, tell anything you please, myself already knows I'm not okay. Or you can tell my eyes to watch out for my mind, it might be walking out on me today. Yeah, but don't tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, I just don't think he'd understand. And if you tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, he might blow up and kill this man. Yeah, oh yeah. But don't tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, I just don't think he'd understand. And if you tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, he might blow up and kill this man. Yeah, don't tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, I just don't think he'd understand. Well, if you tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, he might blow up and kill this man. Yeah, I